Mark Zuckerberg says
This is the new
future. What do you say about that?
Yeah,
People struggle to understand the AR, VR, MR, and XR. Can you just explain that?
great example of AR would be you seeing a Pokemon.
Jimmy Ding is a Canadian extended reality developer.
He has over 10 years of experience in creating these immersive technology applications.
Also, he is the founder of XR Capsule.
Jimmy, how did you know about this augmented reality and virtual reality?
There was a movie named Matrix.
Yeah.
Imagine humans living in computers. That was amazing. And I thought to myself, this is something that I want to build.
whatever you like.
How can someone learn these technologies? Tell me the resources.
Google.
This blows my mind every single time that 86% of the people who watch my content regularly haven't yet subscribed for the channel yet. So could I ask you for a favor before we start? If you like my content, if you like what I'm doing here, just hit the subscribe button. I'll put out the best content on newest skills and newest technologies like AI, blockchain, IoT and cybersecurity. This is my promise to you and thank you so much. So Jimmy, Mark Zuckerberg says
This is the new
future. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I predict that within 5 to 10 years there will be a boost in the headset wears, specifically focused on virtual reality, mixed reality, and all that. And yeah, I look forward to see the world becoming that and willing to give it a try.
So when I looked into your LinkedIn experiences section, you kind of look like a polymath man. So can you explain where are you from, where were you born, where you went to schooling, what you have did in the career? Take the story from that and land it currently where you are in right now.
Sure, yeah. So I was born in Canada. I would say around 5, 6-ish years old. My parents had an opportunity in China and they decided to explore that adventure onwards. And then I've been traveling in between China and Canada for a while. And in order to keep up with my linguistics, so I do speak both Chinese, English, French, and a little bit of Japanese. So yeah, in order to keep up with all that, I ended up traveling in between different countries and studying in international schools here and there.
How did you got curious about computers and etc.?
Well, I was a very curious kid to begin with. I really liked exploring different things. And well, back in the days, I believe around like 2001, was it? There was 1999, that specific year. There was a movie named Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, wow, that was amazing. Imagine humans living in computers. Disregard the fact that well, humans are being hunted by robots.
Yeah.
But it is really cool to live in like a computerized world where you can just fly, learn kung fu like in a second, jump, dodge bullets and all that. And I thought to myself, this is something that I want to build. Like it would be really cool if I can build it. And started the journey of me trying to figure out how I can build it. And it was trial and error. So I started with computer science and I tried, well, during my college years, I went to the school, Austin College, and thought to myself, it is a liberal arts school, and I was able to select various different courses and subjects. So I picked computer science, CS, of course, and then I thought to myself, I want to try out psychology. So how to study the neural side of things, how I can do some biopsies. So I cut someone's head, some animal's head open and then examine the brain, right? And it turned out that's not my thing. That was not my thing. And yeah, and then I realized, oh, I wanted to experience a little bit more on the mathematical side of things. See if I can allow myself to do the computer visions, computers, graphics, and all that. And which fortunately my professor back then during college was kind enough to show us some of the things that you can do with all of these. So I learned a lot of different language during that. It was Python when Python was kind of like at its, I believe, 2.2, 2.5 version. It's kind of still at its infancy. AI wasn't a thing yet, and everyone thought, oh, Python might be a boom. It will overwrite Java. And then we learned a new language called the Jython. So Java and Python. Yeah, Java and Python together.
Okay.
And then we tried out Objective-C, which was a language Apple used to use, and then we used another one called Swift when it first came out. We thought, everyone thought, oh, Apple is going to make this huge Swift change, and that was some exciting news. And learned a little bit of assembly, which is the rudimentary language for all the languages. And after having the capability of exploring and trial and error with every single thing that I can have that I thought will be helpful for building Matrix, I realized that it is really, really damn hard to build Matrix by yourself.
Yeah, but
and
typically we are going to see what you have seen the Matrix, right? You can learn anything by the Neuralink one, the Elon Musk is building right now, and we can typically live in a virtual world, like what virtual reality is all about. We kind of gonna be watching in, I think, in maybe in 10, 20 years.
I will hold my opinions on the Neuralink for the time being, simply because I am not sure of the side effects that it might have if you were to insert a computer that needs electricity in your brain. I look forward to see how it's going to happen, how it's going to affect the world, but I do not know if it is the right way or the wrong way to proceed onwards. Right now, a lot of headsets that we are currently building are non-invasive, meaning that you are doing this and all you needed to do is have like a earpiece, have a glasses, have like maybe a mask or something like that. And if you're not feeling comfortable, you can just take it out, right? But for an invasive type of technology, so for Neuralink, you are literally inserting something into your brain or into your body parts. If it's going to cause you uncomfortable feeling or like not so great type of like experience, there's not much way for you to undo that, right? I look forward to see it being successful and help people with disabilities to improve their lives, but I do not know if it's going to be the way to go onwards. And
just finger crossed. Let's see what it will roll out.
Exactly. Let's wait and see and explore it further if it's successful.
We'll continue the Austin thing.
So after having the capability to explore all of the trend, all of the magic and a lot of like various different language, Java, Python, Swift, C#, C assembly and all that, I realized that there are a lot of things that I need to do, and there are a lot of things that I am not capable of achieving for the time being, right? Like I can finish like a very small portion of the grand scheme of Matrix, but it is probably not going to be just me, right? I need a Meta, or back then it will be a Facebook to help me to
Yeah.
build the whole entire thing. And during the gap year that I took, I went back to China and I met my wife back then, and she encouraged me to explore further on my study as well to see if I can have a better understanding or like have a better connections in the field. And I ended up working in got my master's degree during COVID in computer graphics, computer vision, and computer aided
You did
design.
that in China, right?
It was, yeah, that was in China.
You
Yes,
are
that would be
living in
correct.
that.
It was very painful.
You are living in China, and you
Yes,
are living.
sorry.
You are doing that, right? You and your family.
We lived in different cities, but I was closer with my wife then.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was definitely quite painful because there was a quarantine period, and then they do checkups every single day with the COVID swab test and all that. But I ended up finishing the degree, and I decided to get out of the country to explore or extended reality elsewhere. Yep.
I mean, do you have in back then? Do you have in your mind that I have to do something in reality? Because how did you know about this augmented reality and virtual reality? That's my question. Because back then there was no
Yeah, so
such thing like AR and VR. There was only computer vision, right?
well, not necessarily. So do you know there's back then there was a Google Glass?
Yeah. The
Google
yeah.
lenses.
I
Google,
remember.
yeah, that was the first popularized kick of augmented reality. Like you get a glasses, it shows you something over the screen, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And that was the initial that came out at I think like 2001 to 2000 somewhere, 2010 at max. So it was at least 10 years ago. 15 it will be, yeah, at least 15 years ago now, but then it was 10 years ago. So I knew about it. And then there was another one called Magic Leap.
Okay.
So you had the experience where people wear glasses and saw a big ass whale that dived out, and then like in the stadium, and you saw the experience. They were pioneers of what we know now as the XR field. Well, they were the pioneers in the commercial space that popularized the XR field. And prior to that, in the 18th centuries, there were people who were doing like computer graphics that were envisioning the glasses, seeing things that allows you to see different fields, different views, different magic, etc. So it has been around for quite a while. And I've only started to learn about it when I started focus a little bit more on the specific field of study. So like during my CS in my undergrad, it was trying to figure out how like Apple building Python will lead to AI. What does AI going to bring us? Like what is it gonna do? What is AI? Like it sounds like a boring thing. You just learn and then you tell smart things. Like that, you just need an assistant. Like hire an assistant. You don't need an AI. And then, and some people realized the power of AI. And well, at the time, I thought it was not my thing.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do something that is similar to Matrix. I want to build a system that helps you to dive into like a virtual world. So I focused on computer graphics, giving you the visuals, and then learning a lot more about the backgrounds and the logistics and the math behind computer graphics and all that. And that allowed me to expand my knowledge over XR and having a better understanding of how to maintain my knowledge and explore my knowledge that way. So when you ask, okay, so how did I have the understanding like of it back then? It took me a few years to have a solid foundation, starting with like math, comp sci, logistics, psychology. It was a slow build-up, and the more you have a good understanding of a field, the better you can explore that field to adjacent fields. And fortunately enough, CG, are closer to XR than I realized, so I ended up having a shared common space there.
What is that?
Oh no, like computer graphics and computer vision has a strong bond with virtual reality and extended reality in general. So I was able to just connect these two immediately.
Oh, great. So after your masters, so you took up a XR course, right? XR bootcamp, if I say.
Yes, that would be correct.
Was that a remote one? Was that a offline one?
That was a remote one. Fortunately, right after COVID, I was not motivated to get locked into a physical space. So there was an opportunity to do remote, and I seized it. XR Bootcamp offered that as well. So yeah, I was able to do that.
So how did you get into that? I mean, how did you apply for that? What was the cost of that?
It was a cost of mainly the time and suffering a little bit, but I think it was a decent amount where I had to think about it, and you can probably find it on the website. I don't want to disclose it without like seeing their adjustment beforehand. If you go to the XR Bootcamp, there should be like there will be discount as well. Just use my name if you want.
Okay.
It's like, hey, Jimmy was the guy, and then I was one of the cohorts, so I am still good friends with the founders of the company, and the teachers and mentors are really good. And yes, it was definitely not an easy sum, and I had to take my time to really contemplate what I need to explore. And also, I was I believe a month late.
Okay.
So the cohort already started, and they were like, "Oh, okay, so we are already rolling in the students. I don't know if you will be able to do it." And I was like, "Well, I have an advanced degree. How hard can it be, right? Like I do know a lot of math, and I do know how to code." And they were like, "Okay, well, if you are willing to give it a shot, definitely try it out." And it turns out to be decently challenging. I definitely explored it. I definitely explored some difficulties along the way, but it wasn't hard, as hard as I hoped it to be. Given that, I had to write a 50-page thesis on how one particular math was doing. Not for the XR bootcamp, but like my master's. And whenever I encountered challenges, there will be mentors or tutors showing up and giving me some guidance and pathways to explore. So that helped me to figure out some of the issues, and that was nice. It's definitely a lot more engaging than some of the classes that I had elsewhere, and that's encouraging. Very tight community.
What do they teach about?
Sorry. Well, they have been expanding a lot more nowadays. So now they are also focusing on the 3D designs, so the UI UX design of the virtual worlds.
Okay.
But when I first joined, it was mainly about the coding
Hmm.
foundations and how you can explore a explore a virtual world, construct a virtual world via Unity and via your code
Hmm.
base and all that.
Hmm. Was that
Yep.
was that building a XR app, XR website like that? It is? What's the end goal of that bootcamp?
I well, simply put, giving you more experience so you
Okay.
can go and work on various different things.
Okay.
Like for instance, you will be forced to create demo pieces within a few days or weeks, or yeah, and yeah, you are expected to provide semi decent projects,
Hmm.
and it usually means that you are under a lot of stress
Hmm.
because you need to deliver,
Hmm.
right? A specific product that allows you to showcase what you've learned, how you're going to utilize these, etc. And yeah, that was, I guess, kind of the end goal.
Hmm.
Like it gives you courses, but also it gives you the freedom to build your own passion project.
Okay. So they
Yep.
basically teach the technology behind the XR, like Unity, and they'll teach the programming side, and they'll teach the UX side, what you have said, and they'll give the freedom to work on your project that you are passionate about.
Yes, that would be correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always liked the idea of having a mixed reality space where you can do an apple catcher game.
Hmm. Apple catching.
The apple catcher game is, yeah, yeah. So the 2D version is that you control a tiny little person,
Okay.
and then that person has a bucket,
Okay.
and then there will be like apples falling from the sky or falling from like a big tree, and then
Got it.
your goal is to move your tiny little person and then catch it.
Hmm.
And what I liked having it was to make my room an apple catcher game.
Okay.
So I built I scanned my room and then detected the ceiling height
Hmm.
and then allowed the ceiling to fall apples.
Hmm.
But for my case, I made the apples into Shibas,
Hmm.
so the Shiba
Hmm.
dogs. And when the game starts, you will be grabbing a bucket-looking thing and then try to catch the falling
Hmm.
Shibas from the sky in your room, and then trying to go to awkward angles and be like, "Oh, I'm standing on a bed," and then trying to get one of the Shibas. So that, yeah.
Great.
So I was able to build that, yeah, and I also built an AI Jarvis.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I've seen that.
Yeah, if you talk to it and then it will respond and then it will tell you joke and all that.
Hmm.
So yeah, that XR boot can give you the liberty to do a lot of weird stuff.
Hmm.
And given that I have some experience in building project beforehand, I was able to explore it in a drastically different freedom than a lot of other people who aren't as experienced.
Hmm.
So definitely, yeah, definitely enjoy the classes.
Yeah. And I think you have the added advantage of cross domain knowledge. Like you have mathematical knowledge, you have computer vision and computer graphics knowledge, and you are into a bit of psychology, right? I think these have helped you
Yes.
to complete that course in 3 months, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it was. I think was a 4 month course, and I did it within under 3 months.
Yeah, great. And you are late
That is correct.
for 1 month, right?
Yep,
That was great.
that is correct. Yep, definitely do not recommend anyone to try it out like that.
I thought you
um,
were suggesting.
yeah.
I thought you will be suggesting the XR bootcamp. I was about to ask that. Will you say?
Yes, I. Oh, no, no. Okay, so I do recommend people to try out XR Bootcamp, but not the way how I did it.
Okay.
So because I did it under 3 months with limited amount of course
Okay.
understanding. So I don't know what they're teaching. I have no idea how they are going to teach
Hmm.
it, and I didn't know they gave us a lot of freedom of choice. So I had to learn everything or do the things the curriculums by myself because they are no longer teaching it after a month and a half, right?
So it's going to be a live
And
class. There will be no
yeah,
live recordings.
they
Okay.
do they do. So I have to catch up like a month's worth
Yeah.
of
Got it.
all
Got
of
it.
the recording and courses, finish it within like 2 weeks, and then do whatever they are doing right
Got
now.
it.
Don't do what I did. Yeah, yeah, but it is definitely worth exploring if you have the time and you want to learn something about XR Bootcamp. Yeah.
Will it be worth it? Like after paying a lump sum amount of money into a boot camp, into a 4 month or 6 months boot camp, will it be worth it after completing that boot camp? Will you get opportunities like which will pay out the investment that have
Um,
we have put in?
so they are currently collaborating with Meta right now, so maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I ask this. Because most of the students in India, like who completed their 11th and 12th, go to engineering and they pick up engineering and they pick up computer science. Right after that, they'll learn some programming language like Java and Python, etc., etc. They'll go to the job, and most of the people do not explore these things like blockchain, IoT, AR, VR, etc. things. So the reason why I'm starting this
Yep.
podcast also is that to say that there are different domains to start and there are different opportunities to start. If you explore, you can do exciting things like Jimmy. You can create a matrix. You can have a goal of creating a matrix. So that's my intention. So that's why I asked about that. And so these days I've seen a lot of hackathons. Like when 2018, I think there is a website called DevPost. Do you know anything about it? Yeah.
Yes.
In that there is.
Yeah, I attended quite a lot of hackathons based off of that as well. Yeah.
I'll explain that
Sorry.
remaining
Yeah.
story.
Continue.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there was a hackathon by Meta where we have to create the apps, AR apps. Surprisingly, when I've gone through that, I found a very interesting app, a very simple app. It was back then in 2018. I checked later in 2022 or 2023. So, a simple VR app which blows balloons, not balloons, which blows the bubbles, water bubbles, soap bubbles. It got the prize money of like $1,000. That was it's insane to me. A simple app, a simple VR app which blows just a soap bubble is getting $1,000. That was crazy for me back then in the college.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing about technology is that simplicity is usually the best. So simple is best, and for a lot of people that for a lot of applications that we use nowadays, we never thought about how it was like not a thing back then, right? Like for Google, when did Google come out?
I don't know, but
Right,
the
when
best example would be Snapchat, right? I don't believe in Snapchat.
yeah, well, Google actually, I well, sorry, let me quickly carry on with the Google.
Yeah,
Google
yeah.
came out in 1998.
Okay.
So back in 1998, before that, that was non-existent. So what do
Yes.
you use to search? You use library books.
Yes.
You literally go to a library and then search for the answers. And so, like a few years when I first started using Google, that felt like magic. Like if I want to know how to read Moby Dick, right? How to understand Moby Dick, or like Shakespeare, for
Okay.
example, type in Google and then use that. That was non-existent.
Yes.
Similar to Snapchat, right? Like nowadays you use it everywhere. It's an AR filter with different things, and then you look into it. That was never a thing. When did Snapchat came out?
Snap just came out in maybe 8 or 6 years
2011.
back. 2011. Yeah. That was about 10 years, right?
Yeah, 2011. So it will be 14
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
14 years. 14 years.
Imagine that. Like now, yeah, now they have a Snaptical. Well, they
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
an AR glasses.
Yes.
Yeah, we thought it was just a joke. You snap things and then you send like weird pictures to your friends, right? Be
No,
like,
it was
haha, I saw
crazy
this
for me.
spider on the floor.
You send a
and
photo, it will disappear in after you watch one time. That was crazy for me. What kind of a app is this? When I know about the Snapchat, my friends was showing it to me. It was crazy for me. Like now it has a billions of users. My friends use a lot Snapchat.
Yep.
So that's the story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, the idea is that you record something and then you show it, right? And it's exactly like how we used to have cameras.
Yes.
We printed out the film and then we show it to our family members. And then Snapchat basically did an upgrade with that. So you have a film of a snap and then you share it with your friends. It's such a simple and even kind of like stupid idea, but they explore it to the maximum. So like, oh, what if I want to show it to everyone that I know? Or like, what if I want to make it a little bit cooler or make it a little bit fancier, right? I want to have a dog on my face, and then I want to be like a dog-faced person. Sounds like a stupid idea. And then they just built it, and now they absolutely dominated the market. That was a simple is the best. Like, find the easiest and stupidest idea and then just
Execute it.
go with it. Yep. Exactly.
So you did freelancing also, right? Right. What was the ideal cost of the
yes.
project that you would build?
So one of the bigger contract that I had was to build an oil infantry. So it is a demo to help transition between mixed reality and virtual reality, allowing users to transition from like a stationary area where you are looking at the models and then transitioning or in a sense teleporting you after you pressing a button to a virtual world of the same tiny little model. So you look at the model and you feel like you want to go into the model, you press a button and then it just zooms in, expands, and now you have the model. Yeah, so that was one of the thing, and the investors for that company was absolutely thrilled with the idea of like seeing their models being like expanded and then zoomed in, showcased and all that, and then you get to see it with your like collaborators as well. It's not just like a one person viewing, but also like a few people can join in the chat and looked at the model with a demo, and they can just pinpoint the oil infantry and be like, this is the part that we are going to focus on, these are the pipes, and this is how we are going to build the whole entire thing. So yeah, that was a very exciting period, because that was when the networking the networking code wasn't there yet. And that was when I had to build everything within 2 weeks. And there was no connectivity. There was no, so like Meta hasn't pushed out anything yet. So I had to build a lot of things from scratch. I had to build like spatial sharing. So networking was non-existent. I need to have two person to share the same space.
Okay.
I have to make sure that if they pick up something, the users can,
Give me a
the
minute,
other
give me a
person can
minute.
see you.
So assume me
Yeah.
like I'm layman. I don't know anything about AR. Explain me that you are talking about networking and you are talking about spatial thing. Explain me in the layman terms.
Okay, yeah. So the simplest term is, if you are interacting with a specific thing, right? You picked up a object. In the real world, you will have to see me picking it
Okay.
up, right? And then your brain will register and tell yourself, oh, Jimmy has picked up a phone,
Yeah.
right? Like, I am picking up a phone. But in the virtual reality world, everything is technically non-existent. You don't, it's nothing in your
Yes.
hand, right? I'm picking up because I'm wearing my headset, and I am showing nothing on my head.
Yes.
So how do you, Raju, is that how I pronounce your
Yeah.
name? Sorry, I haven't-
That's the correct pronunciation.
Raju.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry if I butchered
Yeah.
it, but Raju, you are looking at me, and then how am I going to tell you that the nothing that I'm picking up is in fact a virtual phone,
Okay.
right? So I need to have my headset
Okay.
send a signal to your headset
Okay.
and tell your headset, we're looking at the same thing. There's a thing that I am currently holding that is positioned here. Like I'm holding
it.
something like here. But this is not my hand, right? It is a thing called a phone. So that was not a thing back then. It was, I had to build the foundation of the network code and to make sure that people can see what I am looking at. So if I were to pick up a virtual object, I'm sending a signal to you as a center transmitter to you, and your headset will receive the message of me interacting with something, and it will tell you, hey, I'm holding this. And if I were to press a button, right, I am also telling them, hey, we are going into the virtual reality space now. We're no longer seeing each other. So how am I going to know that you are standing there?
Got it.
So I need to also tell them, hey, now you need to send me a signal and tell me that you are standing there. And then, it's a lot of like what we described in the field as shared spatial anchor. So we are sharing a same space, and the anchor is what the users are being located in, and we are transmitting different data to each other to allow everyone to know their location, their interacted objects, and the animation that might come after when we are interacting the object, and share it with every users as if that we are in a physical space looking at a physical thing.
Yeah, got it.
Did I get it better, or like was it?
I can understand. Yeah, people can
Okay.
understand. So
Cool.
how much did you charge for it?
I didn't know how much they charged. My rate back then was $45 an hour.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
And
fair.
it was, yeah, it was very proprietary, and I was doing it for a friend.
Okay.
He was reaching out to me, and he wanted something pioneering, and he was like, okay, I want something that is going to be never seen before, and I wanted to build something that allows everyone to check it out and be like, wow, okay, I have never seen this before. And I was like, okay, how much time do you need? And he was like, 2
2 weeks
weeks.
is very
I
low
was
to
like,
very less
okay.
little time. You build the whole thing in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I built the whole thing in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to be too cheap on you. He's not the one who's
Okay.
paying, but his boss is. But he and I, yeah, are friends, and he was like, okay, don't be a dick to us, but make sure that you're charging the right
Yeah.
rate. And I was like, okay, so I am going to give you a specific amount per hour, because I'm a contractor. I'm not like a one-time person, and I do not know if I can finish it off within 2 weeks. So I'm going to charge you 45 an hour. And it turned out I worked a lot more than 2 weeks. Like I basically didn't sleep for the next week. So the first week was me going 8 hours a day, and then I realized that it is not going to be achievable. And yeah, and I told him like, okay, so I'm going to cut at a certain time, and we're going to just charge at that specific amount. I'm not going to tell you that because it's a friend
Yeah,
rate.
got it.
Yeah, there's no pointing.
So-
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. If you manage to be an expert in your field, you can technically charge however you feel like doing. But do remember, they might only reach out to you one
Yeah.
time, because it will be, yeah. If you charge at a ridiculous price, it's probably not going to be
But
the
I
best
think
way experience for them.
the XR developer has significant higher pay because there are no specialized XR developers in the market, right? There are very low XR developers. What I think, what I believe.
Yes, but also they are not. There is no standardized
Yeah.
pay, similar to the web developers right now. There is no standardized pay. You can charge $5 an hour to maybe like $125
Yep.
an hour. I've seen a person who charges $120 an
That's
hour.
insane.
And yeah, that is insane. And then what he essentially said was, if you want to build a website, tell me how magical you want it.
Oh.
Like, I want it to fly. Like, I want the thing to click and then it just explode into like dust, and then it comes back, feels like a universe. 4 hours. Give me 4 hours, and then I will make the magic happen.
Yeah.
$120 an hour. He wrote plethora of code, so much so to a point that he had his own library.
Okay.
So he can just pull out his own stuff
Okay.
and be like, okay, done. And yeah, he got his own stuff. So yeah, he charges $120.
Is he your friend?
It's significantly, yeah. I know. He's a friend of a friend. I don't think he's a friend of mine.
Okay.
But yeah, the dude is definitely not an easy cake.
Got it.
Yeah.
So people often struggle to understand the AR, VR, MR, and XR, right? What is the major differences between them? What is AR and what is VR? What is the difference between them and MR? What are these names and MR and XR? Can you just
Okay.
explain that?
Yeah. Well,
It would be great if you.
since you
It would be
asked.
great if you give an example
Yeah.
also, like what we have seen.
Yeah. So XR stands for extended reality. Extended essentially means the extension of everything. So XR is the bigger term for all of the smaller VR, AR, MR. So XR itself is the big brother. So it's like I use computer. So what kind of computer you have? Well, I have Apple, I have HP, I have Dell. So XR is essentially computer. And then AR, MR, XR, AR, MR, VR would be the brand names. Yeah, and then for VR, it stands for virtual reality. So everything that you see in the virtual reality, VR, would be computerized. So it is not a physical thing. Everything is just virtual. It's you can't physically touch it. And all of those interactions that you have has to be interacted via a virtual signal or a connections. And that's where we have AR. So AR stands for augmented reality. So based off of the physical world, we are customizing a few things so it will see different things when we are using a mediator. So like AR usually collaborate with a phone. So you use AR and you scan on a QR code, right? And then the QR code will give you a virtual thing. You don't usually have the capability to interact with AR features. It only shows you it. So the great example would be you are looking over on the street with a phone and you saw an advertisement. Or a great example of AR would be you seeing a Pokemon.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go is, yes, exactly. So you can't use your hand or use a controller to touch the Pokemon, but you are seeing it through your phone, and it is standing on your street, right? So you can't touch it, hit it, or anything. You just looked over it, and then it's there. That would be AR. So you can't really interact with it, but it is virtually in the physical system or physical world of yours. And that's the last part where it comes in, called mixed reality. So that, which stands for MR. So MR is a mixture of both worlds. That's why it's called mixed reality. So you can interact with the virtual object. So instead of having a phone, you have a VR headset or like a goggle glasses that allows you to have the processing power to interact with the virtual object. So if I am looking at a Pokemon with the headset, I can now interact with it, or grab a Pokemon ball and then throw it over. The picking up the ball is the virtual interactions that I need for mixed reality in a physical space. And that would be the difference and explanation for all four of the abbreviated reality terms.
Got it. Yeah. I'll tell you what I understood. Yeah.
Okay.
Augmented reality is something about where you put a digital object on the real world. Virtual reality is about it will take you to another digital world where everything is real in a digital form. And MR is like the combination of both, where you'll have the holograms, digital objects, and you'll also have the digital world. Is that really mixed reality?
Yeah, that sums it up. And mixed reality, you can also see the physical world as well.
Okay.
So it's like in between. You get to choose if you want to be in physical world or virtual world, or you can modify a little bit, half and half. That would be because it's mixed, right?
Yeah, got it.
Yep.
So what about the XR? The combination of all three?
Yes, that would be correct. Yes. So it is essentially the mother or father of all of the realities. That will be XR.
Extended reality. I think it might also include the blockchain and other things also, right? XR. Am I correct?
No, unfortunately, no. Although it will be really cool. Extended reality only contains the way how you see
Okay.
things. So a blockchain is essentially a ledger.
Yeah.
So it is a bookkeeping device. You write a documentation or you write whatever happened on a book, on a ledger, and then it just keeps writing it off. It is similar to what we would describe as a data bank. So yeah,
How can someone learn these technologies, like immersive technologies? Tell me the resources.
the easiest way, the cheapest, most effective way for you to learn anything right now is via YouTube, Google, GitHub. It is also the hardest way because you need to put your mind to it. You need to find it, and then you need to sit down and tell yourself, okay, this documentation or this YouTube video or this tutorial, however it is, whatever you found is going to be 2 hours. How am I going to sit down and then learn everything that this person is teaching me, right? There are a lot of, like, I would consider one of, like, my best teachers, like my best math teachers, Indians. Like all of my Indians teachers are like math teachers. Why? Because I found them on YouTube. Like they would use like a lot of like great techniques to show me how they are going to solve a mathematical equation and how I can transform that equation into a C++ code for my master's degree. That takes time. It's a 2 hours session of pain and agony because a lot of things are new, right? And you're taking in things by your own tuition. Like you are the reason why you are not learning.
Yeah, that's a great way to
And
put
it's
it.
hard. Like back then, yeah, during high school or maybe like secondary, the reason why you're learning is because, oh, my dad told me, or like, oh, my mom told me, something like that, right? Now it's you. You are learning your own things, and you are required to learn them, write them down, and it is the easiest, freest media out there, and it is also the hardest and the most expensive one out there because you need to pay attention. You need to spend time to actually understand it. Like no one's going to like hold your hands and be like, "Oh, you can't understand this? Let me tell you why you did it wrong." There's no one. It's just you. Yeah.
Learning to learning is a good way.
Yes. And I realized that the best way to learn something is to teach it. So you find a friend and then you try to explain to your friend what you wrote, how you wrote some of the things, the way how you implemented it. You always learn by reinforcement. You do it repetitively, but you always learn by teaching something because you need to explain it in the layman term. And if you understood it in layman term and you can do it in the advanced term, you've understood the assignment, like back and inside out. And you shouldn't be struggling in that case. But obviously, you need to be a good teacher, right? You have to understand the task. Yeah, and it is, definitely the best way for you to learn, and also the hardest way for you to learn as well.
So there is one friend of mine. He says anybody who is talking high technical words, like a teacher, is not good at it. the man who teach the man who teaches you in the layman terms the easiest way possible, he's the best teacher out there. Go learn from him.
Uh, I depends. It
Yeah,
really
yeah,
depends. But I do agree. Yeah, it's very
yeah,
situational.
it's
So the way how you learn is definitely by doing it, like having a teacher who can teaches you in the
yes.
layman term.
Initially, we are talking
But
initially.
uh, pardon? Can you repeat that
Yeah,
again?
we were talking about initially the context. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then in that case,
Hmm.
100%. If someone were to throw at you with all of the advanced words or
Hmm.
like quote unquote the fancy
Hmm.
words, um, then that person isn't necessarily trying to teach you. They're mainly trying to boost their egos and then to show you how good they
Hmm.
are. There's nothing wrong with
Hmm.
this. There's nothing wrong with someone who's trying to show
Hmm.
off because, yeah, people like to show off. It feels
Hmm.
good, right? Yeah. If I'm better than you, I like to tell people, hey, I'm better than this guy. Or like, if you are worse than me, I want to show
Hmm.
people, oh, I'm not that bad. I'm good at these
Hmm.
things, right? And yeah, that is definitely something, and it's a very human thing
Yeah.
to do. But it's not the greatest way to learn from a
Yes.
person. Yeah.
So actually, I am trying to do that these days. Like I am learning about AI just a bit. I am trying to put it on YouTube. I don't have any friends. I moved out to my hometown. I was studying in different city. I used to have friends over there, but here there are nobody like who has time to put some efforts what I am telling. So I am trying to putting out those concepts on YouTube. So that's the way I figured out to teach, to improve my learnings also.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's a great way to expand your field of understanding. That's also why podcast is vastly popular among well,
Hmm.
everyone, because it's the easiest way for them to have
Hmm.
a good understanding of how to learn things, how to even like teach themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So if if I want to learn AR and VR and XR, so what are the necessary things that I have to learn? Say, Raju, you have to learn these things like Unity that you said. Tell me what are the basic things that I have to learn in order to become a XR developer?
Um, I'm going to make it sound really like not an answer, but if you are interested, XR is essentially a drawing on a canvas, drawing on a paper, like. And if you feel like you want to use oil painting,
Okay.
go for it. If you feel like you are going to use acrylic, water painting, pencil, stencils, charcoal, whatever it is, you can use it. Like it is essentially just a blank paper, and then if you feel like you want to explore that opportunity, go ahead, and there's nothing to stop you from doing that. And the reason why I say this is because currently my team is consists of people who's experienced in Unity
Okay.
development and people who's focusing solely on 3D
Okay.
asset building. So that person knows nothing about
Hmm.
Unity, and there's also a person who focuses on well texture mapping, material drawing. So they uses Maya, they uses a Substance Painter, and it's completely deprived from Unity and XR itself. But they're on my team, and they're building together a specific thing, and I'm leading them. And there's also the composer who's creating the music. He has nothing. He has no idea how to build like anything other than creating absolutely fantastic music. and there are people who focuses on marketing, who focuses on venture capitalists, and you get a lot of people who wanted to do a lot of different things, but their common interest is XR, and essentially you found the group and you find the right people to work together, and then you build an amazing product. And that's kind of the thing that I am answering you and not really answering you, is that there's not much of a necessary thing for you to really explore if you want to go into the XR. It's similar to AI as well, similar to a lot of other things. If you ended up already becoming a software engineer and you absolutely wanted to go down the path of becoming a programmer, the absolutely need of you trying to learn is to have the capability to search YouTube, Google, and GitHub. Like, have the humility to admit that you're struggling, talk to people, learn how to build all of these things, search on YouTube, find GitHub repository, learn how to do that. Do your best not to use ChatGPT or Copilot or like all of these things. You definitely use it to expedite
but not in
some
but
of
not
the
in the
things.
initial
But
stage.
yes, I mean you can ask them and then it will tell you. You can use it in the initial state, but it would be preferred for you to have an understanding of what you are using first. Like, if you're trying to reconstruct a triangle, right? Like trying to do the math, like how do I build a triangle with just three dots? Okay, what is the mathematical equation? Understand what that is first, and then tell ChatGPT, okay, I want to know how to do the well, what is the specific word for that? Try methods. I'm using Google too.
Yeah.
Pythagoras.
Ah,
yes,
Pythagoras, I know.
Pythagoras theorem.
Yeah, I used to hate him when I was in school.
I still hate him. I still hate him. But yeah, everyone, if you know how to use Pythagoras, then you know how to build it. And then if you want to not use that much of your brain and then trying to figure out a squared plus b squared equal to c squared, sure, ask ChatGPT. You already have the knowledge at the back of your brain. But preferably don't use it just because you don't know how to build it. And then to use it only if you are aware of it and you are experienced and you are just being lazy. Yeah.
I think,
Make it your assistant, not your
yeah,
boss.
I think you have answered a bunch of questions in just a one single word. So I'll tell you someone who is friend of mine. There is one friend whose name is Kulai, and he's a bug bounty hunter, sort of like a hacker. He finds security flaws in the companies and he'll report, then they pay for him, sort of guy. So I did a podcast with him, not in English, we did it in Telugu, the regional language here. So the same thing he says when I ask something. So how can someone learn this bug bounty hunting? He just said, go Google search it. And he said the same thing.
Yeah.
So Google is the best resource and the bad resource because you have to put out the effort. It could be the best friend if you are curious, if you want to willing to put out the work, and it is also a bad friend. If you are not interested in putting the work out, it's going to be a bad friend. So that's he just came like a digital asset in front of me when you were talking that, like Google search and all.
Yeah, that explains it. He and I shares the same vision. I believe that it is correct. If you want to never use it as if you are addicted to it, only use it as an assistant, as a friend. So you can't like ask your friend to help cook, sleep, make bed, clean the room, right? But you can always help your friend to come over, bring some food. You're cooking as well, and then he needs a place to crash. You are offering him a place, and then you're sleeping by yourself or with your family, friends, whatever it is. Make it a friend, not your boss or like not your addiction.
I think
Yeah.
I'll probably know what you'll answer if I ask this. I'll tell you. I'll just share the questions. I know what you're gonna say. I just Google it. I know. So I was about to ask, how can someone find this hackathon? Like you'll straight away answer this, like Google it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, go on.
Other than Googling it, there's also the one that you previously
Yeah.
mentioned, Dev Post. That's definitely one. GitHub, you sometimes have it, and Discord. Some of the Discord channel offers a lot of
Okay.
things. And yeah, Google is a really powerful friend. Hackathon online. Just search for it. DevPost will be number one, I
Yeah.
guarantee you. And DevPost has been doing great, well, since online hackathon has been a thing. And I've met quite a lot of people who are interested in XR, willing to collaborate with me even after finishing the hackathon. So it is also a great way to meet like-minded people as well. So DevPost, and if you want to reach out to XR Bootcamp as well. I am no longer affiliated with them, but well, they are, a lot of them are my friends, so I would definitely recommend checking out their social networks, their linking, their like connectivities, and that they are currently collaborating with Meta as well. So that. Also, if you want, reach out to me as
What
well. I'm always open.
what would the best option, like LinkedIn, email? What would the best thing to reach out to you?
LinkedIn would be a good way. And if you want to keep updated with what I'm currently working on, it will be the Discord channel. So I believe that I have it on the LinkedIn and also on my business page. But
I'll put it in the description.
100%. That would be good. So
No, I have something to ask. A few more things.
okay.
Yeah,
Shoot me.
I'll take. You have been in different places, right? You are in Canada, you are in China, you are in US. So what influence that you are seeing in terms of development? You have seen USA, right? You have seen, I think USA has best software development, and China has best semiconductor and sort of hardware development, right? Is that correct?
Not
Okay.
really. So US has the most expensive software developers in the world, simply because it is a capitalistic country. So they focus a lot more on trying to hire the best of the best in the world, and then paying them a crap load of money to build a very powerful system. That's why you have ChatGPT. And for the Chinese, I don't think Chinese themselves have the best semiconductors. I believe that it is currently the world record is held by the Koreans.
Okay.
The semiconductors were like all of the conductors, PCBs, all of the chips, IC chips, anything that is remotely close to a machinery that needs precision cutting, all of that would be best built in
South Korea.
well, either Taiwan or Korea. Yeah, and China's the best at selling everything
Yeah.
cheaper
So
with like maybe 80 to 90%
yeah,
power.
I did a mistake in explaining that. I was explaining about the manufacturing of the China, because recently I was seeing a podcast where, do you know about Carl, the founder of Nothing? Yeah,
Yes.
that guy was explaining that. So China has the manufacturing plants where you can go, uh, tell a component, they'll give the by the manufacturing, that you cannot find. I mean, you cannot find a manufacturer cheaper other than China. Yeah, he said it in this way.
India's
Yeah,
coming. India's catching
yeah.
up. India's catching up. 100%. Right now China is definitely in the world leading space for the cheapest
Yes.
manufacturing with about the same capability. It's slightly less. Not they are definitely not the best, but they are definitely the second best. And there's no doubt about it. And the second best currently can sell with a significantly cheaper price. Like they are probably selling 20% of the best compared to the
Yes.
best with 80% of the
Yes.
power. And that's more than enough for most of the people in the world. Unless you are like the top tier, like world leading technology company that needs like the best thing. Like if I want to launch a spaceship, and I need like this to be 1.2038 nanometers. Then yeah, China's probably not gonna cut it. But other than that, yeah, it would be one of the
Yeah.
most advanced ones out
So
there.
if you want efficiency and accuracy, go for US products. And if you're kind of, I don't need much efficiency and much accuracy, I just want that thing to be work out, China is a good option because it is affordable. I'll tell you why. Because US produces sensor and China also produces sensor. When I was in engineering, I was into some IoT development. I was doing some kind of IoT projects. So I ordered the sensors from China,
Oh, nice.
like very minimal cost.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. It, yeah, if you want accuracy and precision, I would say U.S. or U.S. U.S. designed companies are better. Depends on where you are going for. German
Yeah, yeah.
engineering is always the best because they're Germans, and then Koreans are really good at doing like semiconductors, doing like uh, LCD
Yeah.
panels, like
The
yeah,
Samsung is from LCD.
the camera
Yeah.
lenses. Yes, exactly. And then for like lenses, Sony is pretty good, and then you have Swedish people who does like, I think it's Swedish, Hasselblad. I don't know, like cameras and all that. Surprisingly, there are a lot of things. Well, if you started learning more on the computer vision and in computer graphics, you will realize that a lot of things are not just the U.S. The only reason people think U.S. is like very powerful and great is because they really like to advertise them. They really like to tell the world, "Hey,
I'm the boss, bro.
I am great at this. I am the best." Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then everyone was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, you can be the best." And the people who are actually in the field knows a lot of
Truths about.
people from the States are, yeah, not the best, but they are very well known. The thing about US is that they are really good at
Marketing.
using their mouths. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. And what do you think about India in general?
Well, I would say India is slowly catching up, given how many people that there are. Like you guys have a lot of people
Yeah.
right there, and yeah, regardless of how the economic system is happening right now in India, people need to eat, right? People need to figure a way out to like climb up, be rich, or whatever it is to make their life better. Then you will be forced to be very competitive, be very how do I put it nicely? I'm
Yeah,
trying to
take your time.
make it sound good. Yeah, be on top of the economy, be on top of the society, be engaging, be networking, be a lot more involved with the development of the civilization. Then that means more manpower will make things happen. It might not be the best manpower, or it might not sell as the best of the world, but it can be the second best.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, if you are a book reader, can you suggest few books? Because I personally love reading books. So, can you suggest some books which can help either in whatever books that you are inspired of or you love?
Yeah. I think one of the book that I'm currently reading is called The Five Dysfunctional Member of a Team.
Okay.
That is a great
Okay.
book. It is essentially teaching you how to explore each person's capability, and then
Okay.
there is also another book called The Life of
Yeah.
Pi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great book. Read it, and it is really dark.
Yeah.
But it it talked about religion. It talked about the way how people live in life. Talked about how you want to experience your way in society, etc. And yeah, Life of Pi. The
Yeah.
Life
Even there is a
of
movie.
Pi. Yes, by Li An.
Yeah.
Great. Great director. I believe. Yeah, these are there are a lot of books that I read that I would recommend, but I think these two are the ones that came immediately on top of my head.
Yes.
And the third one would probably be Atomic Habits, so teaching you how to be a better person, and one step at a time, just be better, right? Just be a nice person in general, and to learn to improve yourself along the
Yeah.
way when the society hits. So yeah.
One last thing. So, you
All
said you
right.
are looking for interns. Is that okay to if they are remotely working?
Yeah, well, it's XR. The goal is to do software and then to make sure everyone is connected via headsets, via online working. So yes, I am looking for interns to help me out to build various different things to explore, and also to help them to be better with what they want to do. I have quite a lot of interns in my company, and
So my intention was that a lot of people which not a lot of people, like quite amount of people which will watch our podcast, if they are into some AR development or VR development or XR development, will it be possible to give an internship for them, for you?
Yeah, I don't mind being reached out and then ask questions about. It would be preferred to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and it will be a slightly more formal settings, and I would have a better understanding when I am reviewing their LinkedIn profiles, their experience, and all that, because well, I kind of need to know who I'm dealing with in order to
Yeah, got
hire
it.
them, right? And via LinkedIn would be a better way than, say, shooting me an email or like finding me on Discord. I mean,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's it, Jimmy. Thank you for your time, man.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, It's great having you reach out to me, and then I'm excited to have a conversation
Yeah,
with you.
Jimmy, it was glad that you have accepted and you have given the time for the podcast. Very glad, feeling glad.
All right. I will be signing
Yeah,
off then.